I can clarify that Australia is the hottest place to be on the earth right now.
According to what? A meme?
It's anecdotal. My anecdote. Welcome back.
Are we
to the
using
podcast.
the redness of Kirsty's face scale to determine the temperature of the earth?
I'm not a sweater, but mate, it is warm today.
Well, we had rain. Like last night, we had a good...
Is that what it is? It's a little bit humid.
It's not just a little bit humid. And how quickly have we adapted to not humidity out here?
I'm sweating buckets.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
forgive me if I get like the chickens.
Just walk around with your mouth open, trying to
my
vent
mouth
air.
open and my wings out.
That's a good thing. That cattle trough needs plenty of cleaning. So
That cattle trough is the cleanest you've ever seen in your life. I even landscaped around it so that the cows that we don't own will really enjoy
drinking from it.
an ambient
This is going to become a running
atmosphere.
joke, isn't it?
while they drink from our cattle trough.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the podcast. And what I have to do at the top of the hour is...
Dark Horse.
No, I was going to say, as Brett from the Dark Horse podcast says, we need to pay the rent because we have a sponsor for the podcast, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because the more that we make this and our other channel and kind of the community that we're building online, our full-time jobs, it's things like sponsorships that are going to pay the bills.
And the more sponsors we get, the more we can do around here, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, well, not just around here, but on here as well.
That's true.
Which is cool. All right, so I'm going to do a little ad read for you. This episode is brought to you by Blue Eddy. Blue Eddy provides some of the critical power infrastructure on our off-grid homestead, giving us reliable backup power on cloudy days for our tiny home, our off-grid water system, tools and equipment, and yes, even the coffee machine. If you're looking for an all-in-one power station that's genuinely plug and play and doesn't require an electrical engineering degree to understand, the Blue Eddy Apex 300 is worth a serious look. The Apex 300 delivers 3.84 kilowatts of continuous output with just under 3 kilowatt hours of internal battery storage. We run ours with the optional B300K and the newer B500K expansion batteries, bringing our total usable capacity to just over 10 kilowatt hours. And that's enough to comfortably support our backup power needs across the homestead. For us, it acts as a reliable secondary system alongside our main off-grid setup and has significantly reduced how often we need to run a petrol generator, saving both fuel and maintenance costs. That is true.
That is very true.
You can check out the Apex 300 using the link in the description or the QR code on the screen here somewhere. Purchases made through our link help support the running of this podcast. So thanks, Blue Eddy, for supporting the show.
Genuine Blue Eddy lovers here.
Yeah, well, like I say, every time we do a little promo of it,
not just promo.
They're in all our videos because we
Absolutely.
actually use their gear, even though they don't sponsor all our videos.
That
So
Apex is such a good unit.
today, it's getting to work out today.
very versatile.
It went down to the bore pump today for a couple of hours. It's pumping there. I've currently got it on solar panels right now, topping up again. And then depending on what the weather does, because it sits there like a backup for us.
It's going to storm again this afternoon, 100%.
Yeah.
So we'll lose that afternoon solar input.
Yeah, if I don't quite get enough, then I use it a bit like a generator and I'll dump that back into the main system. Or if I do, I'll take it back down to the pump and do some more pumping. So yeah, we genuinely use it.
Okay.
All right, rent paid.
Rent paid.
I just like that. It's just a reality of kind of, it's why some channels sell merch. Should we sell merch?
Nearly every podcast now, somebody says that
nearly
they
every
would
episode of ours.
genuinely buy a t-shirt if we made merch with our rule number one.
Don't be a dick.
So let us know if you think that that's something that we should pursue. We have always been merch supporters. Like wherever we go, favourite bands.
Oh yeah, Powderfinger.
Always buying merch. Some of your favourite shirts are like random little breweries you've gone to or coffee roasteries.
Coffee roaster,
Back in 2020, or maybe 2021, this is my favourite merch purchase ever.
I know.
I think you still got it.
It's wearing out.
So we lived in the Tweed region, right where, like, about half an hour away from the Queensland border. And all of our family and friends lived in Queensland and we lived in New South Wales. And so what you would do if you wanted to catch up, because I think it was in 2021. It was over Christmas.
Yep.
2021 when we weren't allowed to go and see our families. Like we weren't allowed to cross the border.
Christmas where we couldn't,
because we couldn't produce the evidence that was required. That we
because the border was super magical and it basically stopped it.
Sure did. And so there was, what you could do is there was this park on the border.
Are we going to
remember the name of it.
Our illegal activities?
No, they weren't illegal. You could meet at this park and you could access it from Queensland, a car park on the Queensland side and a car park on the New South Wales side.
I don't think that just because you could walk through the park and cross the state border line that it was allowed.
It wasn't allowed.
It just wasn't policed.
No, and so we would meet friends and family there. That became like our hangout spot.
Yep.
And we would have picnics and Christmas celebrations and for months. And so there was this merch line that came out called the Border Social Club.
Yeah.
And it was a little photo of, you know, those
bollards.
Kennards Hire, like orange bollards with a seagull on the top that said Border Social Club.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite merch purchases ever.
Yep.
I keep looking at that. Whenever you wear it, I'm like, I can't believe that happened. But here we go. Anyway, should we do merch? I think we should.
It's just fun.
We love it.
I don't care if it doesn't actually go towards supporting
I'd also
the channel.
like a T-shirt that says "Stay Rustic."
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I don't know if anybody else has got any ideas, Reganisms that we should put on a T-shirt or a hat or.
Kirstyisms is the first one.
Really?
Well, rule number one. Oh, okay, no. Rule number one came from, I don't know if we've told this story before, but when the kids were little, they wanted to get into Minecraft, and confession, I was kind of into Minecraft too.
They all still are.
We were all playing it last night.
Not me.
With my
I've never
adult children, but also with my
nieces and
nephews. I wanted them to be able to play safely online, and like a good parent who doesn't need the government to protect my kids online, I did the research and I wanted to find, because servers are toxic places, and you know, you've got like 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids, that's how old they were.
Yep.
And you're like, well, how do I protect them? There was this guy in Australia. I'm sure I've probably told this story. It was called MCAU, yeah.
Minecraft Australia.
I remember a newspaper article being written about him. I can't remember his name now. Actually, I feel like it was Rob Thomas, but not the Rob Thomas. Anyway, there was a newspaper article written about him because he was technically the biggest mine. He was the owner of the biggest mine in Australia. As in, he was bringing in
Minecraft mine
a whole lot of money because he started this Australian server for Minecraft players, but he made it super family friendly.
Yep.
I guess.
That was rule number one.
Rule number one.
That's where it came from.
And so that was, I remember the kids like tee-hee-hee would read that.
They were allowed to say that word.
Yeah, well, it was a great rule.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Well, last week's was a super interesting little venture into politics.
And that hasn't exactly fizzled out.
It has not gone very well.
I saw the first arrest made under the new, are they called hate speech laws? What are they called? I don't know what I think they're called hate speech laws. That's what everyone's calling them. So for context, I don't really know what the guy said. I saw a clip. He seemed like he was a bit of a stirrer, but besides the point, isn't it? Got arrested because he said hurty words. It starts. You know what I thought? I wonder, because these rules are supposed to be retrospective, right? Mm-hmm. What if we just overwhelmed them all? What if we took all of the photos from go back 5 years, you'll find a ton of content. We're probably included.
Are you going to be inciting here?
Oh, shoot. That's the thing, isn't it? Inciting.
No, because the article that I read was that Sunday night, because we're recording on Tuesday, so yesterday was Australia Day, that one of the organisers for the March for Australia was beaten up.
Oh.
And was talking about it online. I haven't actually looked into this but it did happen. He was talking about it, and the police contacted him and said, you need to stop talking about that because...
You need to stop talking about the fact that he was beaten up.
Because it could be seen that you're inciting violence.
Oh, for flip's sake. So if we say anything now that could incite anything...
you can't tell the truth if it's going to rile people up.
We're going to end up talking like robots. How was your day today? Pleasant, thank you.
Do you remember that Carl Barron episode?
Don't use that tone with me, Carl.
Can I have a biscuit?
Classic.
That's classic Carl Barron right there.
But what if you literally just took all the photos from the media of, doesn't matter, both sides of the political spectrum, everybody that's held up any sign ever, including like
elbow,
white, kill all the whites, and like there's
Well,
some
he didn't do
nasty.
that.
No, but I'm saying just in recent times, like some of the protest signs are getting out of control from both sides. Just send them all in. Just flood them with it. Make it so that they are completely under-resourced and go, this is unpoliceable, which it friggin' is. All right, we're getting real.
It's not. That didn't take you long, did it?
It's not unpoliceable. It absolutely is. If the purpose of this law...
No, they'll just pick whoever is making the most noise. They'll
right?
Pick, yeah.
That's exactly how this is going to go, because there will be politicians and media personalities and people who, from a PR perspective, it doesn't make sense to arrest, that they won't arrest. But take some random guy who jumps up on the microphone and maybe gets a little bit loud and obnoxious and probably said some things he shouldn't have. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't actually listen to what he said, but nobody knows his name.
This
so
information is coming in so quickly. It's very difficult to keep up with it all. I very much appreciate all of the content creators who are tackling this in Australia. I'm listening a lot more to podcasts from Australia than I am about the American, well, sort of. But a lot of the guys that are creating really good content, doing really great interviews. I even saw our old mate Carl Stefanovic. Stefanovic.
Has he started a podcast?
He started a podcast.
Everyone's doing a podcast.
That's because it's called New Media. Conversations, not sound bites. Like, yes, we have a sponsor, but I'm pretty sure they're not like, going to tell us what we can and can't say.
I'll tell you exactly what will happen if they do.
Try,
if we have
not going to be
I don't think these guys would. They've been awesome to work with. But if there was ever a case where they were like, we don't really like being associated with, okay, you don't have to be.
Nope.
Yeah.
The comment section of last week's podcast got interesting.
Did it?
Yeah, there was some
fired up people.
Oh, no, everybody was pretty respectful.
Yep.
Cooker Central was my favourite.
Yeah, I didn't know. That's a bad thing, isn't it? I feel like we're not boomers, but I feel like such a boomer when I'm like, I don't understand this new speak.
The comment section, I will admit, on just in our general, on all of our channels, I really got myself thinking, can I do this week?
Well, that happens,
really
doesn't it? When we produce something that YouTube pushes out to a new, so there's a little behind the scenes info for you. When we know when YouTube's pushing our content out to an audience that hasn't ever seen our stuff before, and later on we'll actually get a report that shows us, how many people watch this video that have never watched any of our stuff before. We don't get that straight off the bat, but we can tell because the comment section just changes tone a little bit, doesn't it?
I really had to search my heart this week, this weekend, and kind of be like, is this what I want? Not that I'm thin-skinned at all. I'm not. But as a recovering people pleaser, it can get me. And everyone's like, oh, don't listen to them. Yep, cool. But sometimes there's one that'll just kind of get under your skin a little bit. And it just kind of leaves me feeling uneasy. It's
really
not
hard,
that I get butthurt and people are like, oh, you can't handle the hurty words. It's actually not about that. It's just it makes me feel uneasy.
And there's a disproportionate volume of negative comments, isn't there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I do feel like sometimes there is a higher percentage of people who are inspired to comment because they don't like what we said versus in support of. And I'm not like fishing for comments.
No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be very authentic. I hate that word, it's overused. Open book about this whole journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, this is part of it. Like to the guy who thinks he's found us on Google Earth and keeps
that was my favourite.
And keeps asking why there's an established house at the front yard. So I think he thinks that there's I think his implication from his real shite comments is that we're hiding behind mum and dad's money and there's a fully established house and everything here.
Oh, and we're doing a little bit of river cottage.
We're
pretending to live in the tiny home.
And I'm like, number one, ew, why are you searching for us on Google Earth? Like, that's unnerving. Number two, you're obviously wrong.
Do you know who told me this would happen? We were really lucky. We got to, a few years ago, meet Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and I know most of you guys will know who he is and probably watch his stuff.
He's the one that told Regan he needs to be on YouTube.
He did. So Mark, it's your fault. No. He's such a genuine guy.
Yeah,
like, we
he's
honestly
really
had
lovely.
the best conversation. Sat around the fire pit one night with him, had a few drinks, and just kind of talked about
life and
the future, and why we should start a YouTube channel.
And his wife's lovely.
Nina's awesome. And the boys came, and his whole family came and hung out. It was really cool.
This is before we moved here.
Yeah, this was years ago. Like, I'm going to say, it could be 6 years ago now, something like that. He said to me, do your best to protect your location, but they'll find you anyway. And he said that people will scrub through, like, street by street, Google Earth. And I mean, number one, that gives you a sense of how much time people have got. And they'll find his house. And he's only on 3 acres, I think, but they'll find his house. And I was like, what? Like, how? He goes, they know the layout of my gardens. He goes, I don't even film lots of parts of the property. Like, if you watch his stuff, it's generally all in the backyard. But you start to see little bits and pieces, and if you were determined, you could north, south, just go through. And they rock up at his house. Yeah. And because he's not too far out of, like, a major,
If you do that, you will not be welcome. Sorry.
Yeah, I've had people contact us and kind of be like, can we come and meet you and that sort of stuff? And sometimes I say yes, and sometimes I say no.
A lot of the times we say, or we meet neutrally first.
Yeah. And look, I tend to believe, 99% of the time people's intentions are good, but that dude just shows that there's the 1% out there.
He's convinced we're lying.
I'm not sure what he's going to... What his
funny.
end game is if he, like, catches us out that we're actually living in a house.
We're trying to build the house right now. Like, there's no established house here.
It wouldn't matter, for people like that, if you put a 360-degree camera on your head and walked the property.
Yeah, they'll still find something.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of that to say, that's my little authentic moment. That's Kirsty's real moment for the day. And I was really like, is this what I want? I felt very vulnerable.
When we started, like, that whole Joe Rogan thing, he doesn't read the comment section. I feel like he gets to not read the comment section because he's got a mega podcast.
No, but what we're trying to do is create a community.
That's right. Which means you can't ignore the comments.
Have you, like, I'm just talk for the sake of my own voice. Like, that's not, I'm not interested in that. So it's
that being said, it's probably worth pointing out now, I know we were going to say it later anyway, we do have a Patreon community, and that is starting to be the space where some of the more engaged and the back and forth conversations.
Yes.
YouTube's hard because I can't it takes me a while to figure out who people are. Like, I'll see the same name come up over time and then I'm like, oh, I know that person now. But a lot of people don't use their real name, they don't use their real profile pic and that sort of stuff. So it gets pretty hard to, and then after a while you do get to kind of know who they are, but also you don't kind of have a back and forth chat, not easily.
Yeah.
And so you've got to kind of scroll up and down through all the comments. So yeah, over on our Patreon, we've got these kind of
group
chat
chats.
Spaces, and that's really cool. So I'm sure there is one already on the topic we're going to be talking about today, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Which
I think we're dovetailing all of our content into one little package this week.
Oh, yeah, because the video that's coming out on the weekend is also going to be about this topic. So we should probably say what we're going to be talking about.
Okay, so today I wanted to talk about, like, we're going backwards and forwards. What do we talk about? We can talk about the news, but I guess we can talk about it generally because I want to come from the point of view of prepping. And we joke and jest about having our tinfoil hats on, and they're slowly just coming off. And if you come here, then welcome to the tinfoil club.
I don't think they're coming off. I think we're just wearing them with pride now because...
Because it's the truth.
And somebody said, we might have made this comment last week or the week before as well. We got a comment saying, guys, stop apologising for that and stop trying to, like, gloss over that, because there are a good amount of people now who are looking beyond the mainstream media narrative and what the government tell them, and
it's all true.
And don't tar it with the brush
not
of crazy.
Theories.
Yeah. So it's just, it's all true. All right.
It's all
prepping.
True. So, like, I wouldn't consider myself a prepper. Like, we don't have a bunker.
But lots of people... Okay, maybe we need to draw a line in the sand here.
What is a prepper?
There would be a lot of people who would say...
Would you say we were preppers?
We grow more food than we currently need right now so that we can put some food away. I mean, squirrels do that, but, you know.
Are we squirrels?
But most people don't. Most people shop week to week or fortnight to fortnight, right? Most people don't.
Some people shop day to day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that you are in charge of the groceries in our house at all.
No.
You're like, what can I make with this? Yeah, so I want to talk about preparedness because it's been an eventful week in the news. What's been happening? Let's talk about it.
What hasn't been happening? We're on the brink of war. Multiple.
We're not.
No. Well, we, the planet.
The planet is.
There are multiple kind of potential
escalations.
hotspots, aren't there?
The World Economic Forum was a little hotbed of
As it always is.
conspiracy theories coming true.
Yeah.
That was a very enlightening set of talks.
Yeah. What have you watched from there? I have.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
I've watched Elon talking to the CEO of BlackRock. That was interesting.
It was Howard Lutnick,
Who's Howard Lutnick?
the Treasury Secretary.
Of the United States?
Yes.
Yeah.
Treasury Secretary. No, is that Scott Bessent? Anyway, Howard Lutnick basically was out there just going, we're ditching net zero, like,
Wow.
here's what America's doing.
Wow.
Like, unapologetically just going, well, you know what, America, we're going back to doing whatever we want, and you guys are all, like, need to get in line because your country's going to crap. And all of, like, the bigwigs in the WEF were just sitting there like...
They're
I
kind of
was
getting
like,
bold with some of
yes.
that stuff at the moment, aren't they?
So that's happening. The escalation in Iran's happening. Australia's legal, political system is just gone kaboom. The Nationals have left the Liberals. The Liberals are tanking. One Nation is looking like it's going to be the opposition party in Australia.
Yeah.
Don't know how they're going to allow them to do that, but that's an awesome day for
Well, it's just
politics in Australia.
It's just exciting from the point of view of something different, right?
Right.
Which is maybe how a lot of people are feeling. It's a little bit like, we get cynical and jaded when it's like, oh, well.
Nothing's ever going to
Red,
change.
blue, ping, pong.
None.
And then all of a sudden, orange. Ooh.
So that's happened. What else has been happening in the world in the last couple of weeks? Hotter than the gates of hell here. There's mammoth storms in America. Like, all of this, like, escalation and uncertainty.
I mean, there's like, economically, the world is in trouble as well.
Yes.
Like, and it's not just one country. Remember when it was like Greece? Like it was like one country, and it's like, oh, look at that country. I hate to be that country.
Yeah.
It's every country right now is economically in trouble and scrambling, and they're all saying the same thing. Like, we've got to get back to manufacturing, and we've got to,
No, the opposition parties are all saying that we've got
yeah.
to get back to manufacturing.
Yes.
Yes.
So that has kind of led us down a discussion about what it means to be prepared for a kind of a world of uncertainty.
Yeah. What really got me thinking about this is because I've started posting on our social media channels a little bit more, just trying to grow and expand our reach. Not that I love it, but we're doing it. And I followed this guy on my TikTok that came up in my TikTok algorithm called Prepared Australia.
Ooh.
And you should definitely, I'll link down below, you should definitely go follow him. It looks like he's just started this channel. And he basically said, I don't think the world's going to end. And I don't think, like, I'm not talking doomsday here, but, and the hook that he used, because when you're talking, like, social media videos, the first 5 to 7 seconds is called the hook, and that's what gets you to stop scrolling. There's a little
behind the scenes.
The algorithm.
If you wondered why you kept watching on any video.
Hook was, if you've lost faith in the Australian government, and I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
What have you got to say?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how you can increase your preparedness, and I'm like, right on, mate.
Yeah, cool.
And it really articulated a feeling that I've been having over Christmas and throughout January, of just needing to be more prepared. Not for, like, I don't think that there's going to be, like, tanks rolling into our farm or anything like that, but the economy is unstable, the financial system is unstable.
Multiple systems are unstable.
The supply chains are unstable.
Yeah.
Like, you look at what's happening in the world, the countries are now just going, I think globalism is dead.
Yeah.
I think countries are going back to, we need to look out for
Interesting.
our own, and I definitely don't think Australia has what it takes to do that quickly.
Well, because you've got to have a really strong core national sense of pride and identity and kind of culture to lean on, right? And we're completely divided on
100%.
that. Yeah.
And we've sold off all of our
everything.
infrastructure, all
Resources,
of our manufacturing,
our
all of
best
our
companies.
resources. We give away our minerals, like, to basically for free, or someone's getting paid.
Topher and Carl's were talking about this last night on the last night's podcast. Was a riot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Topher had a bottle of, I think it was whiskey.
Oh, jeepers.
And Carl's handed over the mantle of spicy Carl's to him for a little bit there. But they were talking about, like, as a country, what do we actually have to be proud of? Like, look at, since the Olympics, right? What key significant, world-renowned piece of infrastructure or system or anything have we put in place that we... And there's been a few projects, like there's, things that you could go, oh, they built this over here or they built that over there, but nothing world-renowned, right? So we're a country that is incredibly rich in culture, in people, in natural resources, like, economically, we could be worse. And yet, since the Olympics, right, and I just picked that.
So that's the year 2000.
Right.
So 25 years.
Quarter of a century.
Yeah.
What have we built? What have we... And
Wind farms? Sorry, did I say that out loud? Poor.
But that's the point. Yeah. And so when you look at that, you kind of go, far out. Have the last 25 years really been that bad economically?
Yes.
See, I don't know. But when you look at the fact...
Been like they are now because of the decisions over the last
25 where we've
years.
given everything away and we've sold out.
Longer than that too.
Yeah, much longer than that. Exactly.
I still remember when they sold Telstra.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Holden.
Dude, we're
gone.
getting old. Yeah.
So, as a country, to be able to kind of lean back in on a national sense of pride and go, we're going to look out for our own, it'd be very difficult to get the country on board with that message. But and what you were saying to me earlier today was that's what you're observing is happening, and particularly like some of the messaging that's coming out of the States is...
America first.
America first, yeah.
But that shouldn't be our slogan. Our politicians should be saying Australia first. Like him or hate him, Trump is polarizing, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of am on the fence about him. I'm not going to...
Well, as you should be about anything.
Yeah, I think I'm old enough now that my idealistic traits are gone.
Yep.
I have lost the idealism of my youth. It's sad, but I have.
Yeah, okay.
I'm now no longer quick to go, they're amazing.
Yeah,
they're the answer to everything.
Yeah, I get you.
I hold everything very lightly now because I'm like, nothing lasts forever. Things change and they can change quickly.
Yep.
People don't always show you who they really are. Like everything... Yeah, I hold everything with an open hand now.
And anybody that steps out into the limelight and promises something great gets like knocked out, like cut off at the knees, and especially in this country.
I hate it.
The tall poppy syndrome.
Oh, I hate it.
It literally is a recipe for, like him or hate him, the thing with Trump, or same with like Elon, like very polarising, but he's getting shit done.
Yep.
And that's harder to do in our national identity because, oh, look at that. Luna walked past the tripod and didn't knock it. Wait for it. Wait for the tail.
Yeah, hot, babe.
She's always got to come. You can't see her, but
she's so hot.
She doesn't want to be away from us, and the floor in this little building is dirt, so it's nice and cool. You're definitely going to be able to hear her panting. Poor thing. We'll put her in the pool. The cattle trough ladder.
Continue.
Yeah, tall poppy syndrome is a recipe for making sure that nobody ever gets ahead or can forge a path that other people can follow. Because the minute you are, successful, actually able to lead a charge that could take people somewhere.
Entrepreneurial, you think outside the box.
Well, then the cynicism creeps in and everybody's like, we can't have that. He's got too much money, or how did he get there? So... All right, I'm sure we got off topic there. But in response to everything that's going on in the world...
Yeah, I've really started to think about how resilient we are, how resilient we're not, and really looking at scaling up our self-sufficiency this year.
And you've only got to look
I want
at
to talk about it.
Even the last, 5-6 years to kind of go, things that you never thought could happen, happened. And
I paid $8.50 for 500 grams of butter the other day. I'm sorry, but what the
crazy.
actual hell?
That is crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the farmers aren't getting that.
Oh, for sure. And it's
I'm sure it's imported too. I couldn't find that on the labelling, but I don't even trust labelling these days.
You bring up a good point, because it's not just that something major needs to happen in the world, like a war needs to pop off or some crazy speech laws, shut a whole country down from being able to talk properly anymore. It can literally just be that the economic pressure puts people into places where they can't afford basic, cost of living, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. You've only got to look at the last 5 years to go, your dollar is worth crap.
Yeah, working harder and getting paid less.
That's exactly what's happening.
And the government are taking, in some cases, up to half of it, if you count all of the areas that you're taxed.
Yeah, right. Young people can't afford to buy homes.
Yep.
We don't have homes for them anyway, even if they could afford them. So there's some serious... And then, just look at some of the events that have happened. And I'm not even talking just 2020 and that whole time, but things like when the FPOS machines went down for that, 24, 36 hours, whatever it was, and everybody went into a panic. Or these things that, natural disasters. Do you know your weather app now? Mine came up the other day and said, extreme weather alert, and I can't remember which weather app I use. I think I've got 2 or 3. Because they never agree with each other. And I was like, flip, okay, there's a storm, epic storm coming, wind we've got to be careful of because wind catches us by surprise out here. Click it, heat wave. And I was like, far out, it's going to be crazy. And this was not, by the way, Australia Day, I didn't get one for Australia Day. That was 40, did we get a 41?
On the farm here, we were 41.
Yeah.
With a felt like of 45.
Well, I can tell you my incubators were reading 42. I was scrambling to try and get them down because I've got 100 eggs on at the moment.
Yeah, how do you get them below ambient temperature?
Fan, misting,
right.
Anyway, it wasn't even that one. It was a couple of weeks ago, and I click on it, and it's 37 degrees, extreme heat.
No, that's just summer.
So, but this is the point that I was making, right? Then these weather apps or whatever tell you that there's some extreme event happening. You know what people do? They run out and buy all the toilet paper but there is something inside people that makes them super uncertain about the state of the world, and so that any little messaging now that comes through, they're like, is this it? And I remember our kids ringing us up when that whole FPOS thing happened, and they were like, is this it? Is this the start? Do we start making our way out to the property now?
Ever since The Walking Dead came out, we've joked about the zombie apocalypse. That's our little soft combos about in the zombie apocalypse, who would be on our team and who would be out. Who would be zombie fodder,
most
who
people
would be
are
not.
grossly underprepared.
I think we are still grossly underprepared. And I guess that's why I wanted to talk about really looking at what it would take. And I don't think that you can ever fully shore yourself up against everything, right?
No.
But how do we rely less? And how do we become more robust here and in this little community that we're in and that we're building?
Yep.
How do we become even more close community rather than relying on heading to the city to Bunnings, or do you know what I mean? Or heading to Coles and Woolies that's where most people shop, and that's also where most of the control comes in, is because if they don't want to sell you something, they'll just create shortages.
So I think back up even a step, we can talk kind of real practical stuff. It's also a mindset thing, right? I think most people don't even think about this stuff. They're quite happy to be fed the mainstream narrative, although these days even the mainstream narrative is leaning into the
fear.
Yeah, that kind of hyperbolic, like
because
everything's
they want
extreme.
Chaos. They want chaos.
We know from doing media, it's better to put out a thumbnail that says chaos, fear, whatever. People will click that. They want whatever it is that they want. The drama. Yeah. So I think you can even back up a step and just kind of look at your mindset in terms of preparedness. Like even just what you were saying, like how you are. You're watching, you're researching, you're resourcing yourself mentally, like you're listening to a wide range of voices. Preparedness is not just, do I have a pantry full of baked beans? Like it's also understanding, well, where is the danger? Like what are, we could probably put zombies at the bottom of the list, and we could maybe put certain shortages of certain goods and materials at the top if a war here breaks out, or different resources if a war there breaks out. But you can't, I guess what I'm saying is you can't think preparedness if you're not going to put yourself in the mindset or the mind space of, I need to pay attention. I need to resource myself mentally.
I've got a couple of channels that I watch that help disseminate global activities. One of them is a prepping channel.
Yep.
And you joke about it every morning. That's like one of the things I do when I'm like doing all my
Is that Canadian
jobs.
Prepper?
Canadian Prepper.
Okay.
He's very dramatic.
But I will say, I don't watch him as much as you do. We were driving home somewhere and you put him on, and he was talking about how he got reached out to by a government agency in the States. He's in Canada, isn't he?
No, by the Canadian government.
Oh, I thought it was...
it was the Canadian government.
Okay, reached out to him and asked him about... Because he also has like a warehouse full of like kind of prepper materials,
he's getting rid of it at the moment.
Yeah, he's destocking all of that.
He thinks it's so close that he doesn't want
He's just putting it all in his own bunker?
He doesn't want the risk. He thinks it'll be too risky.
Oh, they'll raid him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was...
I'm not that like...
No, but this is what got me is...
But not that tinfoil hat.
Without kind of violating any non-disclosure agreement or anything, he basically laid it out that there was a government department that reached out to him asking for, it might have been ration pack resources or something like that.
Safety equipment to do with hazmat suits and breathing apparatus. And it's because there's something in the Canadian legislation that says they have to search for that equipment for the government from local sources first.
Oh, right. Yeah, because his whole point was like, guys, I have my contacts that manufacture this stuff. Why aren't you going directly to the source, the manufacturing source? And that's when he found that law out. And that was kind of the thing that keyed him into, okay, the Canadian government are stockpiling like hazmat suits and breathing apparatus. That's when you can kind of pay attention to some of that stuff because, yes, even channels like him can be a little bit extreme.
It's signals, right?
Yeah.
It's the gold price.
Yeah.
It's the silver price. It's the copper price.
Yeah,
it's the wartime metals price.
They're not a guarantee, but they're a...
It's signals.
It's signals, yeah.
It's the things that you won't hear about, absolutely won't hear about in the mainstream media. These two countries, two ICs had a meeting today. Here's what's happening over here. Here's what's happening here and why this matters and that matters and how it all intersects. That's the only reason. Here's the only channel that I'm like, look, I might not agree with everything that you say, but at least you're kind of pointing to all of these things that help me see signals, right?
Yep.
Because if I can see signals, I can go, ugh. Should we buy gold? But it's not even buying gold, it's buying options for gold. It's buying a piece of paper that says that you can actually have some physical gold.
Wow.
It's like their prices are record highs.
Yeah.
And every day it's a new record high, and every day it's a new record high. And governments and countries around the world are stockpiling it, right?
Yeah.
What does that tell you? What signal is that giving you?
Well, I remember our accountant telling us a couple of years ago.
Buy gold.
Yeah, but when the government starts buying gold, prepare for war.
But like, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
War's going to happen. Do you know why war needs to happen?
Needs to happen.
Do you know why it needs to happen across the world? Because everyone's in debt.
Huh, right, okay.
Because all of the financial systems are built on debt.
Right. Yeah.
And they're all nursing huge and growing exponentially deficits that they can't get under control.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you look at all of the house of cards, not just Iran on its own, not just the Middle East on its own, not just Russia and Ukraine on its own, not just the soundbite here or this thing over here, when you can actually start to look at the house of cards as a little bit more of a whole, you can go, the system's precarious. Where does my part to play fit in that? And I can't fix any of that, so what can I do? Because sticking your head in the sand is not going to help, right?
Well, I was going to say that those are kind of, and I'm in the middle of making a video for our other channel talking about this sort of stuff, and when I looked at this whole idea of mindset, I felt like there's kind of three approaches that people take towards this topic in the wrong way. Stick their head in the sand. They outsource their responsibility, as in
the government will
save me, or they panic, or they act irrationally or out of fear, or they lean too much into the crazy.
And that fear is where things get real dangerous.
Yeah. So my question to you would be, and since you watch a few of these, these channels that are kind of talking in this way,
to know what's coming.
No, and that's the point that I'm making. That's why we resource ourselves mentally like this, is so that we've been paying attention to the signals, so it's not like, wait, what's happening?
I did not like being blindsided.
Yeah.
COVID, blindsided.
So is there a way to approach the topic of preparedness that keeps you level-headed, makes you not unrelatable to your friends and family, but also sets you up in such a way that, you know what, if it did pop off, and it could be anything, right? Another pandemic, solar flare. Last year, there was a 4%, a 2%, whatever it was. It might have been 4 times the amount of a solar flare on the scale of the Carrington event, which happened in the 1800s, which shut down luckily we didn't have computers in that back then, but telegraphs all went offline. And they were like, flip, there's the potential that one of these solar flares, it's just the sun's doing solar flares all the time, but the sun's a 360-degree object. If the Earth happens to be in the path of a big one, so, lots of things need to line up. But if it happens, or when it happens...
And not even only like all of this talk of war. I think that's something from the Bible, wars and rumours of wars.
Yeah.
But even looking ahead at AI and the implications it's going to have on society globally. And we've done a couple of conversations about this last year, and it's already changed so much since then. It is no longer the conversation of, AI might disrupt some things. The experts are talking about between 2028 and 2030, whole system disruption.
Yep.
Self-driving cars, the highest paying job not the highest paying job, the most amount of employment in the world
is driving.
Yeah. Driverless cars are now way more not acceptable.
Ubiquitous.
Yeah, there we go.
So Elon was talking about this at the World Economic Forum and pointed out that there are now, and we predicted this, there are now some insurance companies that you can link your Tesla up to them to prove that you've got it in full self-driving mode for the places where you're allowed to activate full self-driving, and they will halve your premiums because the insurance company knows the risk of an accident is dramatically reduced if you let the AI drive the car versus the fallible human.
Yeah.
Most people still don't get this. They still think one car can't be smarter than one human, but you're not talking about one car. You're talking about every car ever.
Every Tesla ever.
That links back up to the mainframe, whatever.
Is smarter than a human.
And then combines all of its research and experience and data. It would be the same as if humans could do that. If we could drive and then at the end of the day, we all just plugged in and uploaded our driving experience and we all got like a Matrix-style download of that, imagine how good of a driver you would be. That's what AI can do. That's what these full self-driving cars can do. And so, it's no longer like an if this happens. It's rolling out right now. The fact that insurance companies are changing their policies right now.
We will be priced out of being able to have insurance.
I don't necessarily disagree with this idea either, because if it's proven, and it is, that statistically there will be less accidents, there will be less fatalities. If you look at just the pure data, and it's that lives have been saved, why wouldn't we want that? Yeah. No, but it's a good question to ask. Why wouldn't we want that? Well, there are some reasons, right? If all of a sudden you replace every driver in the world ever, and it can happen all of a sudden.
Yes.
They are scaling up these factories. They are cranking out these cars. It's like minutes. I think when they count down like how many cars tick off the assembly line, it's like one every something seconds or something minutes.
Well, Elon's whole incentive package is based on the Optimus robot. And what they're saying now is that Tesla, the history books will not write about Tesla as the first car, electric car and self-driving car. It will be the robot, the robotics that they are known for. Now, there's a lot of comments that happen from people on this channel that are like, oh, AI, stay away from it. Unfortunately, that is sticking your head in the sand. There's nothing that you can do about it.
Well, this is exactly why Elon's thrown his hat in the ring, right? Because he was against it. He kind of led the charge on that open letter to OpenAI and others who were running way too far ahead of themselves. And
move fast, break shit.
Yes, that's a great philosophy when the shit that you invent doesn't rise up and kill you because you got it wrong. But
or displace billions of workers.
He wanted there to be a global pause or slowdown on the development of it and it's been proven out, people are now leaving OpenAI, for example, because Sam Altman's a cowboy and he's letting them do stuff they shouldn't do. And AI safety is not at the top of his list.
It's the new arms race. It's the new Cold War.
100%.
The first to singularity, the first to, what's that like?
Artificial general intelligence, And he even said...
Because China's going to get there first.
Well, that's the thing. DeepSeek came out and then he was like... And I don't think that was the impetus for his decision, but that's when he went, we've got to get in this race too. Because at the very least, if we have the goal of developing an AI that is safe, then maybe there's because some of the top experts in the world are saying there's a 20% chance that humanity is wiped out by it. 1 in 5.
But there's literal nothing we can do about that. You and me, we cannot do anything other than talk about it, have conversations about it.
Well, we can educate ourselves.
We can educate ourselves.
And we're having conversations. We've said all this, but we're having conversations with our children about how do you prepare for a world where AI is coming. And that old...
it's here.
Yeah, sorry. The robots are coming. The autonomous work is coming. The displacement of jobs is coming. And look... 20 years from now, we may go, that was the best thing ever. Look at how everybody is better off, okay? So another thing Elon said recently...
If you survive the 20 years.
Yeah, that's right. Another thing he said recently was robotic surgery is getting so good now, he would advise that nobody train to be a surgeon anymore. Because you're talking, 4 years, 8 years? I think sometimes it's more. I've got a friend who's an anaesthetist, anesthesiologist. What's the difference between an anaesthetist and an anesthesiologist?
I'm sure
maybe one does it, one just talks about it.
We will find out.
In the notes below.
As soon as this is done, you'll Google it.
I know, he trained for like 8 years for that job. Elon's saying, we trust robots now to do cataract surgery, LASIK eye surgery, his Neuralink implant that gets put in these guys, you can't be against this. You've got quadriplegics that are now playing video games with their kids because they can think and the computer does something, or they can think and their wheelchair moves. It's phenomenal and amazing. The robot that does that surgery, it's a robot that does it because a human hand is not reliable enough.
Stable enough,
The more these companies invest into this technology, the less you as Joe Citizen is going to want a human surgeon performing that surgery, right? But what it means is because it's entirely scalable as well, right? Because I don't have to train somebody now. I just, produce another robot. I know I'm oversimplifying it. And I can clone, that experience. And what he's saying is exceptional healthcare will be available to the entire planet.
Yeah.
That's a utopia that he's talking about. Now, there's every possibility that it gets corrupted, co-opted,
And it probably will.
But those are the incentives behind it, and why you're foolish. And I'm going to say that, and I know I'm going to piss some people off, but you are foolish to rail against it and say things like stay away from AI, because that's like in the age of the horseless carriage saying stay away from the automobile. It's the devil's tool. Like that would have been how people thought back then. Yeah. People aren't against cars today, even though they're like killing machines, smog-making machines. So
that's the thing that you're going to pick up.
Smog.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying when your thinking stops at technology's progressing too fast, or I can see all the negatives, I'm just going to boycott it or, extricate myself from society because of it. I think that's the wrong move.
I don't think that's resilience.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's robustness.
Yeah. But what you can do, if you come to the conclusion that this thing is happening, regardless, you can educate yourself and you can prepare yourself. Oh, this is the point that I was going to make. Well, we're now saying to our kids, people are saying things like, in the age of robots and AI, become a plumber, because robots aren't going to be able to do plumbing.
Yet.
You better believe they're going to be able to do plumbing.
That's the short term.
If they can send a robot in to defuse a bomb or to perform brain surgery.
If you want to set yourself up in the short term for that period of transition.
Do a trade right now.
Do a trade right now. 100% do it.
Don't do an office job. Don't train to don't even train to be a lawyer.
So here's what I mean, right? I mean, as I'm watching our robot lawnmower dock itself after mowing the orchard this morning. I mean, I was hella against it, and I bloody love that thing. It's awesome.
Yep.
I love it a lot. Just like I love my robot vacuum cleaner. We're living in we grew up with Beyond 2000, there is that element of we're living in the times that were spoken about and kind of dreamed about. Imagine a time when I just don't think that any of us expected to feel this desolate. I don't think anybody expected it to feel so really bad, apocalyptic.
Nobody talked about the transition times. This was Star Trek for me growing up, right? Let me nerd out for just a minute. Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry was a visionary of a utopia. He imagined a universe where, and look at what he put on screen. He risked everything to put an African-American woman in an officer's position on the bridge of a ship.
Are you talking about Star Trek The Next Generation?
No. This is original Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah. This is 1960s.
Oh, this is the one my mom loved.
Yeah. Nichelle Nichols only died a few years ago. She's
Sorry, I nodded off there.
But she broke ground. She occupied this position. And then all of a sudden you had things like the movies came out in kind of the 80s and into the 90s, where you had the Klingons or the Russians.
Oh, jeepers.
And then there's these treaties that happen, and all of a sudden they're mortal enemies, and now they're forming alliances and they're now going out and exploring the world together, even though one particular race is warlike and warrior-like and you could never get along with them, and the other... They were metaphors
propaganda from the start.
But in all of those stories, so they painted this utopian picture. In all of those stories, nobody ever talked about how they got there.
Yeah, right.
Then you enter into some of the newer stories. Yeah, so some of the Next Generation stuff and some of the new Star Trek that's coming out, although some of the new Star Trek that's coming out is crap. But some of the new Star Trek that comes out that talks about... There must have been a time where that wasn't an easy transition.
In between.
And there's wars and there's all sorts of shit that went down.
Yeah.
Those are very interesting stories. But back in the day when you talked about utopia, nobody ever talked about how you got there.
How you got there, that's right.
That's where we are.
And I think that's the next 20 years for us.
Yeah.
You can't avoid that. I mean, you can if you want to, but it'll be too late by the time you get there. And then what's going to happen when resource becomes scarce, when you have to rely on your government to not only provide for you, but to have had a plan in place this whole time? I don't know about you, but all I can picture is Albo going, what do we do?
Yeah.
What do we do? Like China, America?
Oh, wow.
Like whose ass are we going to kiss to, look after the Australian people?
Yeah.
The government, you can't rely on the government to look after you in the in-between time. There has to be a level of wisdom and preparedness that comes into play here, because these things aren't magically not going to happen. They are coming. How do we build our own resilience around that? I'm not saying avoid it. I'm not saying you shouldn't use AI because it's bad. Like you can't get around it these days.
Yep.
I'm not saying, join a left party and then just jump on, like, if that's against your values. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, how do we build our own capacity for resilience before it's too late?
Yeah, well, I think it's that first point, isn't it? You can't stick your head in the sand. So resource yourself, mentally with knowledge. Resource yourself with knowledge, I guess, is what we're saying.
And skills.
Well, that's a good point, isn't it? If we wanted to talk practical, which we'll get to, one of the things you can stockpile is your knowledge and your skills.
Yeah.
Costs you nothing but time. Learn how to service a small engine. Learn how a generator works. Learn how to just go and buy a little camping solar power setup and just run a beer fridge off of it, just so that you've got some basic understanding of how to create your own energy and power a device that, that could become important to you. So knowledge and skills. So resource yourself with knowledge and skills. Don't bury your head in the sand as far as what's going on in the world. Don't outsource your own responsibility, your agency, The government would love nothing more than for people to be like lemmings. Lemmings are really, do you remember the game? Lemmings are really easy to control because they all march in the same direction and they all will follow the same predictable path. And it's really easy to govern lemmings because they're just going to follow the path. But when people are free thinking and have their own free will or have different opinions or desires or objectives, they become a whole lot harder to govern. The government is going to have its hands tied up the more that they try to control the narrative, the more that they try to control how people speak or what they say online, because what they really want is lemmings. They're not going to get it because people have agency, people have free will.
And they remember a time before.
Yeah.
We remember a time before technology.
Yeah. So
no, not technology, before the internet.
Well, yeah. So you can't outsource your responsibility, your agency. The government aren't coming to rescue you. They're only going to look after the lemmings. And then the third...
I don't think they're even going to look after the lemmings.
Well, they're going to look after themselves first because that's what institutions do, is they preserve institutions.
Look, if you're looking for self-preservation, just get yourself a government job. Sorry, I'm going to get copped in the comment section for that.
I know, and it's so hard, isn't it? Because there will be people here watching right now.
That was a little bit of sarcasm and a little bit of irony.
No, but a little bit true, because there was a time where if you had a government job, you should have been proud of yourself because you were doing something to progress the nation. Now there are that many government jobs that we have, like allegations of waste, fraud and abuse that are found to be true because we are saturated in that way. Are there people that still work for the government that are doing awesome work that are actually helping to progress the country? Yes. So we're not saying that a government job makes you a leech, but there's a fair bit of leeching going on at the same time.
Absolutely.
All right, so you can't bury your head in the sand. You can't outsource your responsibility. You also can't panic, and you can't act irrationally. And I think this is probably the point that I would want to get to in this discussion is, how do you do this in a way where there are a lot of doom and gloom sayers out there, and
who love
they're very
the drama
compelling
of it too.
Yeah,
they love the drama of it.
Yeah,
and like, you know, if you want a successful YouTube channel these days, like Canadian Prepper knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's creating himself an income stream based on WTF World War III.
But he's also not wrong, because he's talking about actual world events, you know, sharing, albeit anecdotal stories of how there are these signals that the world is not as safe as you thought it was.
Yeah.
And then he's resourcing people by kind of selling them the gear that they may actually need.
Yeah.
He just happens to be kind of at the extreme end of the scale of it, and there's others like him. My question to you is, how do you now prepare yourself? How do you start to go into like some practicalities of preparedness without getting caught up in the hype of it? What would you do? And our perspective is going to be unique because we're on a homestead. So we have certain capabilities that a lot of people don't have. We can grow a ton of food, for example, as long as it rains. We've got space. You know, you say we're not bunker type preppers.
We're not. We are going to build a root cellar this year.
We're going to build a root cellar. Like, how thin is that line between root cellar and bunker?
Well, it's not going to be like a Faraday cage.
Oh, I mean, if you build it out of a shipping container, it's automatically a Faraday cage.
Don't we know it? The Wi-Fi will go
We'll literally
out
have
the
to hang the
glass,
Wi-Fi
but
out of the window to get signal up here
Yeah.
because it won't go through a shipping container wall.
Absolutely.
So to my question, and bearing in mind that our audience will be two-part, there'll be people who are either pursuing a homesteading journey like we're doing, so they've got some space and some resources, or they're about to. They see that as the solution, and it will be for a lot of people. It is for us.
We get contacted weekly.
Daily, almost.
About people who are buying land, getting out of the city.
Yep.
Do you know there's so many homesteading channels popping up on YouTube now?
It's so awesome.
Australian ones.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to like just kind of find them and shoot them all a little message because like...
If there's anyone out there that you want to shout out, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. If you know any brand new homesteading channels, shout them out in the comments and we'll...
We'd love to see them. I mean, they should pop up in our algorithm since we watch homesteading on YouTube,
but YouTube's
you
funny
can't
like
ever
that.
trust it.
Yeah. So there's definitely going to be people in our space that we're going to be able to offer them some tips and practicalities around the preparedness mindset and the practicalities of that. Who can do what we're doing, but then there's also going to be people who live in the suburbs, people who live in the city, who are sitting there going, where would I start?
Yeah.
I don't own acreage. I'm in no position to be able to buy it. And is that even the right solution for me?
That can feel really overwhelming.
Yep.
I understand that.
Yep.
I do. Yeah. I mean, you can grow food wherever you are.
I'll caveat that by saying you can't grow all the food you need wherever
true.
you are. You can definitely supplement though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we know that because that's where we started.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you
balcony
can
gardens.
grow it hydroponically. You can grow, however you want to do it. You can grow food wherever you are.
You can also stockpile food wherever you are.
Absolutely.
And
maybe
stockpiling
don't
food...
have as many clothes in usual wardrobe. You know, maybe don't have so much crap in your garage and use that space there. Like, if you say to me, there's nothing I can do, I would challenge you that there is something.
Yep. Buying bulk, stockpiling canned goods, that activity is actually just a good economic, a budget decision. Because if I buy a bulk, 20 kilo bag of rice today and don't have to buy rice for, I don't know, I'm going to show my hand now, how long does 20 kilos of rice last us?
Quite a while.
A good few months, right? If the price of rice keeps going up, I've saved my budget month after month, but you've also got to get to that position where you can afford a 20 kilo bag of rice.
We could go into the nuts and bolts of how I do what I do.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a video that I can kind of put over on Patreon myself, like just some bonus content, because there is a group chat over there that's just about stockpiling and food security. My mum is way ahead of me in this journey, but I've learned a lot from her. And she learned a lot from joining Facebook groups, watching people on YouTube, and developing the system that worked for her in this. I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts of it now, but what I will say is there are skills that you can learn. I would even say buy dried goods, dried beans, and learn how to can and preserve. Yeah. It might be a little bit of a financial investment to get the equipment first. But number one, it's reusable. Number two, if you are able to grow, like I've just harvested my first kidney beans and borlotti beans. Yeehaw, what I can do now is I can either store them dry and soak them to use them, or I can replant them, or I can can them.
Yeah, right.
And I've got myself a version of a can of beans
Yep.
for cheaper.
Yep.
And there's way more reusable parts there.
Just for people that are watching, when we say canning, and I know this pisses people off and whatever, get over it.
It's the ball mason jar.
In Australia, we still say canning. I know some people say bottling. Let's just use a term that's used ubiquitously across the globe.
And preserving.
Because it just helps if you're searching. You're going to find more content if you search for canning.
And I know my mum started with one thing and then just worked her way into more complicated things.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is, like, she's going to teach me. I've got 12, 15 kilos of tomatoes in the freezer.
That we grew.
That I'm going to can and make a whole bunch of stuff with when it gets cooler, because it's way too hot to be standing over a stove, to be having a stove on, it's way too hot.
Yep.
But she's going to teach me her skills. But at the same time, because we're living in, like, we're in this community together, she's the expert in that.
Yeah,
I don't have to be then, because it'd be like, hey, Mum, rather than Google, my mum can teach me, my mum can show me, or, you know, whoever, you know, old mate down the road is into making homebrew, like.
Or butchering, or,
The skills side of things is what you can do for free. I'm doing a herbalism course at the moment.
Yep.
Because, number one, I can grow things that can aid to not only our well-being, but also to ailments and, like, the medicinal side of our lives.
Reduce our dependency on the system.
And reduce our dependency on pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
But at the same time, I don't know anything about that. So I'm upskilling myself.
Yep.
It's something that I can do for free. I can stockpile for free.
Yep.
My brain is limitless.
Yeah.
Now is the time for me to be able to do those things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's not just you need to buy bulk food, because then what a lot of people do is they buy all this food and they're like, but I'm never going to eat any of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so then you're not cycling it. Like, you have to actually start small and grow into this.
So this could all sound a little bit overwhelming for somebody that's like, I just need to do something. Where should I start?
Start by taking a step in the right direction.
I know, but like, canning sounds like I need a whole bunch of equipment, I need some skills, I need a mum who's kind of into it.
Start watching YouTube videos.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, just backing up out of the, you know, the canning and stockpiling pantry space, is there, well, no, we're talking specifically about stockpiling, but is there a particular item or even just a way of thinking or a system that I can put in place that is this, I guess what people really need, and I know this being a teacher, is you need an off the bat win, right?
Sure.
You need something that, and it has to be exactly what you're saying, something that I'll actually use, not just like I stockpiled a mountain of, I don't know, like kimchi, and we don't eat kimchi. You know what I mean? So
don't do that.
So yeah, what would you suggest as a first cab off the rank, just activity or resource or way to start building this into your life?
For the food side of things?
Yeah, let's say for the food side of things.
For the food side of things, I would say become an ingredients household.
Ooh, explain.
Don't rely on buying packaged meals.
Why?
Because you will start to learn when you become an ingredients household that one ingredient can meet multiple different needs.
Right.
And is often cheaper on its own than it would be packaged in.
Am I also right in thinking that...
Like eggs and flour are cheaper
Yep.
than, or having eggs at home even, and then some passata, let's say that's $2.50, and some mince that may be like, my mince is a little bit expensive because I buy like free range stuff. Let's say it's $15
Yep.
for a kilo, right?
Okay.
Or let's say the $10 a kilo for that.
Yeah.
And with that and some cheese,
Yep.
you could make a huge lasagna
Yep.
that is now like $20-something to buy.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
But not only
some of those ingredients I don't have to store in the freezer. I'm assuming that if I'm buying prepackaged things like a lasagna, the freezer is pretty much going to be 99% of those items, right?
But you're buying meat in a little bit more bulk, so that's cutting down the cost per meal.
Sure.
You've got flour sitting here because you're not using the whole kilo of flour in making that pasta sheet.
Yeah.
When you have ingredients, you have options, right?
Yeah.
I would say become an ingredients household for sure.
Does it take more time?
Yes.
So that's a decision.
That's a skill.
What, time management?
No. Because the more you practice it, and I can tell you this because this was me.
Yeah.
I did not know how to cook.
Yeah, yeah.
When did I learn how to cook? 2015?
I'm going to say like about 10 years ago. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah.
2014, 2015
Yep.
is when I learned how to be an ingredients household.
Yeah.
When I had to heal my body through nutrition, and I had to learn nutrition. I had to learn about protein and carbs and good carbs and bad carbs and processed food and refined sugars. And I had to learn that. So once I learned that, I became more confident in cooking. When I became more confident in cooking, I became faster at it.
Right.
When I got a few meals under my belt, I started to be able to do those en masse, put them in the freezer.
Yeah, yeah, right.
The more you exercise a muscle, the stronger it gets, right? So the more you exercise your skills,
right, the more efficient you become.
The more efficient you become, the more confident that you become. I've spent time with some of our really great friends are chefs. They have given me so much confidence to try new things. I've got a herb garden now, so all of my herbs are fresh or dried from that. I've learned to trust myself and to trust what flavours work together.
Yeah.
What did Evan used to say? Pork loves apple, beef loves mustard, lamb loves rosemary and garlic. You know, all of those little things become instinctive.
Yeah, right.
And then you start to build on that, right? So I would say first thing is for food, become an ingredients household. Second thing, stop buying food every day. Stop going to the grocery store every day.
Why? Like if I'm on my way home from work and every day, I get that there's probably a micro advantage in not stopping at Woolies every day, but if I can, why not?
Because you probably end up spending more.
Why?
But also if something does go down, you've got no food in your house.
Well, that's a good reason.
What you can do also, and this is what I started doing back when JJ was a baby, when online shopping became a thing, you can have your groceries delivered to you.
Yeah.
So who's to say you can't go, I'm going to make these 7 meals this week. Here's everything that I'm going to need. You're sitting on the couch with a glass of wine, working all of this out. It doesn't need to be, the kids can be in bed. You can carve out time for this.
Yeah.
You can work out the ingredients that you'll need.
Yeah.
And you start to buy food for a week.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, maybe you change jobs and your pay cycle goes to fortnightly.
Yeah.
You can then do 2 weekly meal plans.
Yeah.
And then once you've got on top of that, maybe buy 3 weeks worth for the 2-week period.
Gotcha.
Or 2.5 weeks worth for the 2-week period.
That's how that stockpiling starts.
And then bump that to 3 weeks worth.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you bump that to, I understand how many kilos of flour I will need in a year to make sourdough and pasta.
Yeah, gotcha.
So therefore, I'm with my grocery budget every week.
Yep.
Putting money aside so that Mum and I can go to Campbell's and to Costco twice a year.
Gotcha.
To stock up on the things that we haven't, or on the staples that we can store long term. But it started with becoming an ingredients household.
And do you, I pretty much know what you're going to say. Do you reckon it's made a marked difference in your budget, like your groceries budget, just thinking and living this way? Like, is it significant enough? And I'm not asking you to run the numbers right now, you might not have, but just off the top of your head, do you think it's significant enough, some of those cost savings, some of those like buying a year's worth of flour, buying 3 weeks worth of meals and 2 so that you're always a little bit ahead for when tough times are happening? Is it noticeable, or is the key advantage just that you feel more secure in your food system and that you know that, you're eating a whole lot healthier?
It's definitely that. I mean, I don't buy, over the Christmas period, I don't buy our normal grocery shop.
Right, so we do 12 months worth of shopping in 11 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
my grocery budget goes towards indulging over Christmas because it's such an important time for us.
Okay.
It goes to extra champagne, extra cheese, charcuterie boards, things that we don't ordinarily buy.
Chocolate-covered sultanas.
Yeah. Chocolate.
Yeah, no, true. Okay.
Dips, chips. Even though we don't normally have those in the house, like I like every Christmas is special and we just kind of, you know, that's our holiday food.
Right.
So there's that. But at the same time, yes, it is markedly cheaper from a few different perspectives. If the price of something goes up, I can choose not to buy that.
Right. Why? Hang on. Why?
If I've got a stockpile of it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, right.
And then I can go, oh, now it's on special for 20% off, or now it's on special for half price. I'll buy 5 of it.
Your hand
I'll
isn't
buy 6
forced.
of it.
Yeah. I get you.
I am in control, right? Or I go, do you know what? Soy sauce is too expensive now. I don't need to eat Asian food because I've got all of these other options over here. Or...
Right. Is that a real thing? Like soy sauce has gone crazy?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Butter has.
Yeah.
Butter has gone through the roof. And
right.
Because I use Woolies, and I know a lot of people are like, don't use Woolies, they're the devil. I leverage the crap out of Woolworths. So much so that I think it worked out $700 worth of points. Like I got $700 for free over Christmas. So not only did I have my normal grocery budget, but I had $700 to leverage. So that's why I use Woolies. They're going to come at me. I'm going to come back at them. I play that game hard.
I know, but like the cynic in me says, like they're just trapping you in a game to make you feel like a winner.
I'm making it work for me.
But that's true because most people won't be as zealous about the points game.
I don't buy my meat there. I buy very little of my veg. I buy onions there if I have to.
Yeah.
I definitely don't buy my coffee there. What else do I buy there? Oh, my bulk stuff.
Yeah.
I don't buy that there.
Okay.
If I can get it for cheaper, and I've got spreadsheets. If I buy 25 kilos of flour, it costs however much per 100 grams from Campbell's or however much per 100 grams from Woolies. And you just work it out based on that. And then the more that you get in the rhythm of, I need $1,000 every 6 months, you just keep putting that money away. And then all of a sudden, you've got everything that you need. If the worst case scenario was to happen, we could eat bread and we can have eggs on toast.
Yeah, okay.
You know, if fire destroyed our gardens and we had no animals and...
Right, okay.
Or if we had no animals, we couldn't have eggs on toast. But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from somebody who knows nothing about what I do?
No. That's why I wanted to do that because I feel like it's not that I don't cook; it's just that I rarely cook, and that's.
It's not a gender role thing. It's just I'm better at it and cleaner at it.
I was going to say, in the same way that you manage this for our pantry, I manage this for our animal feed.
Yeah.
Like I'm the one performing calculations. Like literally, I was thinking this morning, I need to get out and measure those pigs' necks again and see what their feed requirements are, which is a thing we do. So yeah, everyone's got a role to play, and so that's why I wanted to kind of ask you those questions, like coming at it from someone who's like, I would have no idea how this works, but I do know that you get quizzed about all this stuff all the time.
But I didn't just go and buy a stockpile of food.
Right.
I started by ingredients only, and I always shopped for weekly or fortnightly. Like that was just something that I got from my mum. And then when we moved here, we drained all of our food supplies.
Yeah.
So I've had to start from scratch. So 2 years later, I've started from scratch, and I'm at now, I think 2 months after Christmas, I'm at 2 months worth of food. We could last 2 months without buying any food.
Wow.
If we didn't drink milk and cheese and
Sure,
stuff.
you'd have to make a few adjustments, but you wouldn't
that's
starve.
fine.
Yeah.
My goal by the end of this year is at least 6 months, if not 9 months.
Wow.
That's my goal.
And
with
eventually
all
you
of
become
our own seed stock and supply to be able to grow around the clock.
Which that's part of it too, because, and you were saying to me earlier that yes, we grow our own food, and the ideal would be like succession planting and that you're basically always harvesting from your garden, but it rarely works out that way. And, like, unless that was your primary focus, you could give it a whole ton of time. There are going to be downtimes in what you're producing from your own land. We know this from livestock. Pig's not pregnant all the time. Well, actually, she is pregnant almost all the time, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't always have... It's a rhythm, isn't it? So if I think about pigs, I've got piglets right now. In 6 months' time, I'm going to have pork in the freezer, and I will try and layer some of those rhythms on, but it's not always going to work out like that. So to have some of these other systems that kind of, I guess, supplement and fill in the gaps. And
fill in those transition times as well. So I want to have a really deep... resilience for our food. The same goes for like medications, first aid. The same goes whenever we buy water filters, I'm like, buy 2. And that's another handy thing as well. Instead of buying 1, buy 2. 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
That's a retail principle, isn't it?
2 is 1 and 1 is none. For me, 5 is 2 and 3 is none. That's kind of that aheadness, let's call it.
Well, I could probably share on that front as well, in terms of the other resources that you use around your home. So not just your pantry. Now, I learned this managing the last property we managed, which wasn't just a farm, it was a tourism facility, and so there was all sorts of things going on all the time, maintenance-wise, because people could stay, stuff was always getting broken, you involve the public on your property and you're always fixing stuff. When I took over from the person who had my job beforehand, they were driving into town sometimes twice a day. Now, town was only 10 minutes away, but it's a 20-minute round trip, and if you do it twice, that's 40 minutes out of your 8-hour workday or whatever. And I would just start going, and then I started going, why am I going to the little town and going to the little hardware store there where I could jump online and I can bulk buy some of this stuff. And I know there's going to be some pushback, support local. And I do find that really hard and challenging because there is a reality to your budget, isn't there? But I just learned that I would rather go to a big store or shop online, and same principle. I'm like, I need this one poly fitting to complete this plumbing job. I wonder if there'll be other plumbing jobs that come up that I'm going to need that poly fitting.
Maybe I'll just buy 5 of them.
And I ended up with this awesome wall in my shed there with all of those little kind of tote boxes mounted to them, and I would just start adding to it. And now, personally, my own shed, that's what I do.
You've replicated that system.
If I know I need a packet of screws for a job that's coming up, I'll buy 2 packets of screws, and I'll make a nail on the wall that's long enough to hold 2, one for the job and one for the job that I haven't thought of yet, to save myself just the trip to town, but also that will be doing the exact same thing that your food stockpile is doing. As those items increase, as the cost of living goes up, if I'm able to do it now, if I can buy 2 of a thing now, 2 filters, 2 packets of screws.
We were talking about buying something, concrete, because we're getting ready to do our solar shed. Let's buy more than we need. So we've always got some on hand, because it's amazing what problems that you come into that you can then become resourceful. Well, what do I have that I can use to solve this problem? that I've already paid for.
When you're resourced, yeah, and that can come down to simple decisions like ring the landscaping company and ask them what size their truck is, and maybe they've got 2 trucks, because some of them will have a little truck that'll do 3 cubic meters, and some of them will have a big truck that does 8 cubic meters. Now, maybe I can't afford 8 cubic meters this month, but if I can put the project off for a month, I can buy 8 cubic meters of gravel or whatever the project.
Which is exactly what we've done.
Which is what we've done.
Yeah.
And now I used the 3 or 4 that I needed for the job that I needed, and I've got a little stockpile.
Yeah.
And I only paid, it might have been $60 more for the bigger truck, and of course the cost of the gravel. But that decision now means I'm now looking at that going, I could do other things, and I'm not having to pay another delivery fee or the cost of gravel as it goes up. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so you can look at that around your home, can't you?
And I think that's why I want to start talking about it more, is because these systems and realities and rhythms take time to implement. Like for us, we're about to come up on our 2 years of moving here, and we're just getting into the rhythm of our own meat, right?
Yeah.
Only just now. By June, we will hopefully have been processing our own pork and our own chicken.
Yeah.
and then it's a flow.
Yep.
Then it flows, right? But it's taken us 2 years to get there.
Yep.
If there's disruption or economic uncertainty or financial instability or you lose your job and you can't get another one, what are you doing now that's going to build resilience and maybe not solve all of the problems that it creates, but it might offset them, it might buy you time.
And I guess what we're saying too is money in the bank might not be the solution. Like maybe you're awesome at saving, but if all the FPOS machines go down, money in the bank isn't going to help you if you're... And we had friends when that happened, and it was a good day and a half, who shopped day to day. Yeah, and they were like, our fridge is empty, our pantry's empty, what can we do? And maybe this is what we're saying about that third mindset, right? You know, number one, don't bury your head in the sand. Number two, don't outsource your responsibility. Number three, don't panic. The don't panic mentality then says, this is a long-term operation, and yes, it would suck if shit went down tomorrow, but let's work on the assumption that you've got 6 months, you've got 12, you've got 18 months, you know?
And not that you've got infinity.
That's right.
Because then you just go...
You do nothing at all. So if you were to say, I reckon we are 2 years away from major global disruption, let's say even just economically due to the advent of robots and AI, what would I do with the resources that I have right now over the next 2 years so that I could then potentially survive an extra year if I lost my job or if, you know, all of my kids lost their jobs and I found them living back at home?
How am I going to look after my family?
That's going to happen to families, right?
Yeah. And that's where I think globalization's dying, and we have to return to the small community. We have to look after each other. And if everyone is in a community that's looking after each other, and guess what? If you're going to live in community, you can't be a dick. Otherwise, nobody's going to want you to be in that community.
You don't get to be in that community.
So there we go back to rule number one.
Watch The Walking Dead.
Don't be a dick. If we're in these smaller communities that are genuinely looking out for each other, that are genuinely taking responsibility.
Well, there's a skill.
Well, my mum's great at preserving and canning. She taught me how to make soap. I'm good at other things.
Stockpiling food,
well,
apparently.
Like my mum doesn't have the mobility that she used to have, but I'm younger and my body has more capacity. I can grow it, she can preserve it.
Awesome.
That's smart, that's working together. Now, I need to learn the skills because I want to learn the skills as well. But stop also thinking so individualistically. And I know collectivism is like this whole new socialist thing, like think of the collective rather than the individual. To a certain extent, do think of your community and what you have to offer and what it can offer you. I'm not saying that socialism's the answer, but I can see how young people do think that it is because they have no options, no prospect, and the future is not bright for them. Unless you're teaching them, take responsibility now, learn some skills that are going to translate, learn how to feed yourself, learn how to work hard, learn how to dig veggie gut, learn the skills that you're going to need to be able to contribute when things get harder.
And I guess that's a good point to point out, isn't it? We're not talking about some dystopian future where you're all going to be in some walled city while the zombies are on the outside. We are just talking about these very practical realities that people are living through right now, where there are two families in one home because we can't afford one home each anymore, or where the grocery budget has to stretch a whole lot further because if you look in your shopping cart and you spend the same as you spent this time last year, you will have a little panic attack over how much food is in that shopping cart.
The cost of living is not going down in Australia anytime soon. The government are not on your side. I just read an article that said energy prices are going to go up a further 20% this year because they will not abandon net zero.
The
GDP, they're like, the economy's great. The economy's great. That's why they're importing mass amounts of people, because it makes our GDP look good. It's not real. They're lying. And it makes me really angry.
Well, it's a false hope, isn't it? And then people don't do exactly what we're saying.
And people are like, we're fine, everything's fine. No, they're lying.
This is fine. Okay, do we have time? I wanted to talk about, I know we're going probably 90 minutes.
Take a drink, have a breath, calm down.
Energy is something that I wanted to land on. So, we can stockpile resources. cans of beans and packets of screws, sure, like that, that mentality will actually go a very long way. We can take responsibility
and thanks to Chris, we have an incredible stockpile of seeds now.
Yeah. And finally, I should... we're
going to do an episode on this.
He sent me this device in the mail and I was like, what the heck is this medieval torture device?
We're going to do an episode. We're going to tell that story.
But it's for, and I'm going to read out the email that he sent me. But, just to unpack that for you a little bit, it's a device for taking corn and processing a crap ton of corn into feed for your animals.
Yeah. Which is
how did I get onto that?
Seeds.
Growing your own food. Butchering, buy a chest freezer, learn how to buy in bulk, store. We're in the process of our neighbour sourced from a honey factory that was closing down food grade barrels that we're going to turn into like grain storage and sugar and,
long term, airtight.
And rice and things like that. Or rice is a grain, isn't it? Yep, there's all those aspects of this kind of mindset that will actually, regardless of what happens, if you did all of those things, this time next year, you will be financially better off than, someone who didn't.
And a little bit more self-reliant.
Yeah.
How is that a bad thing?
And confident.
Totally.
Because
you've got new skills.
It puts something on you. So I wanted to say about that mindset when it comes to energy. And obviously we live off grid. And so I've got sort of something to say about that. There are small steps you can take in this direction that will just make a difference. I was visiting with my parents. We had our family Christmas earlier this month. And, Mum was showing me her notebook of where she writes down what they spend on energy. And she's keeping the bastards honest, as they say, and she's caught them out a few times.
Absolutely.
Hey, I heard somebody the other day, I watched another thing on AI and she was saying she does this with her phone bill. She will plug her, take a photo of her phone bill and put it through AI and go, am I getting ripped off anywhere? And has saved herself hundreds of dollars because the phone companies don't update things they should. And she was paying handset payments, anyway, that got me thinking about that. And I remember saying to them, one of the things that you could do is shift your energy purchasing power. You don't have a lot of options when it comes to buying energy. Now, unfortunately, it does mean a capital outlay, right? So someone in mum and dad's position, that's going to be a whole lot harder because they're pensioners. But if you're in the position right now to even just buy a battery, like the thing that and this isn't part of the promo, and don't pull me up on that. But this is genuinely what I would do. Knowing what I know now, if I lived in suburbia, I would buy one of those devices. And sure, it's going to cost me a few $1,000s up front. So I'm going to have to set aside some money because the reality is most people don't have a few $1,000s.
Deny myself something.
And somebody pulled me up on this and they were like, because I was demonstrating how we use it around the property. You'd be better off having a little $600 generator. And I'm like, flip, what kind of generator have you bought for $600?
Don't buy a $600 generator.
I know there's an Ozito one, but you are going to be pouring fuel down the gullet of that thing. And that's one of the points, isn't it? We're looking at this, how do we become less fuel dependent?
Fuel and gas.
Yeah. You don't even have to put solar panels on these things, right? So if I lived in suburbia, literally, and I imagine, I haven't run the numbers on this, but I imagine it would save me hundreds of dollars across the year if I just used this device to time shift my tariffs.
Yeah, right.
So what I mean by that is in the middle of the day when the energy company doesn't get as much money because everyone's out at work.
Yeah.
So they're not getting as much money residentially. And they struggle too, right? Because the bulk amount of power that the grid produces when it comes to solar and everything is in the middle of the day.
Oh, really?
It's why you can't get money back from the energy company anymore by putting your solar power back into the grid in the middle of the day. They can't handle it. Our energy grid is shit. They can't handle the power anymore. What you could do is leverage that and go, all right, I'm going to outlay a couple of $1,000s for one of these devices. In the middle of the day, I'm going to switch it on when it's dead flat and I'm going to top it up. That is the cheapest I'm going to pay for power. And it is going to have enough energy to run my home or say a significant few devices in my home for 3 or 4 hours in the evening.
When you're paying the most.
When the tariff is the highest. That little offset of tariff is going to accumulate I could imagine it would pay off that device within a few short years. And I haven't run the numbers, so I don't know this categorically. But what it does is it gives you the control as well. When the energy company suddenly goes, grid can't handle it anymore, we're charging people more. You know, we're forcing them to behave a certain way.
Or when the grid becomes unstable, and if the Australian government continues to pursue renewables the way that it is, there's going to be a really rocky transition.
Yep.
Because we know that solar is unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
It does not suit for grid scale. It barely suits for one house scale. No, it's really, it's great, but it's not seamless.
Yeah, well, it's why there are these battery rebates on at the moment, and I think they're about to run out too. So if it's something you've been thinking about, look into it, because
may as well get the government.
They've achieved their goal, but what they needed to do, what you need to do when you're off grid, you can't just rely on the sun shining. And also, some of the power that you're going to use is when the sun is not in the sky, regardless of how clear of a day you've had. So when you're off grid, you know this instinctively. I have to put some of that power away, so I need batteries. And so that's why they had this battery incentive. They needed people shifting some of that load, because they were like, we can't handle it. Too many people are putting solar energy back into the grid. Let's at least convince them to do it at home. It's actually not a bad idea.
No.
As much as I don't trust the government and their objectives behind it, taking control of your own energy production gives you an incredible amount of independence. And it's totally scalable. Because if I can afford to buy one of those devices this year,
and then save the money that it saves me to buy another one the year after.
Or if I get a device that is modular and expandable, and a lot of them are these days, can I bolt on additional batteries to increase my storage needs? Can I actually bolt on additional inverter units? That's the bit that produces the power, so that I can power more things simultaneously. It's probably worth looking at your budget and going, all right, what would I give up this year? Or how could I shift a few things around so that I can gain that energy independence? And remember, it's not just what you're paying for energy today. These devices have a 10-year warranty on them, some of them. Like, that's how good the technology is getting. What's energy going to cost you in 10 years' time? If they're saying that this year it could go up by 20%, what's it going to cost in 3 years even? So that energy independence doesn't just buy you security from, being at the mercy of energy companies. It also buys you security from the, rapid increases in energy pricing. And so this year, our research is going into not having to buy gas. So we're going to be looking into wood-powered stuff. Because timber is something that we have access to in abundance. Why are we buying gas when we could heat our water
at least, and cook in our cooking, like looking for a wood oven is something that we're wanting to do as well. And as much as I love cooking with gas, that was such a, it's just a luxury. Really kind of going back to that idea of an induction cooktop, that we can use the free energy from the sun that we've already outlaid the investment in, rather than instant gas. So just even we're still thinking of ways, how do I reduce my dependency on it, but also our need for financial resource to be able to buy fuel for the generator and to be able to buy fuel for to buy the gas.
My goal would be that over the coming years we would set ourselves up in such a way that we're not dependent on a fuel powered generator. That's not an impossibility. So for us, that's an important consideration, of course, because we're off grid. If we get 3 or 4 cloudy days in a row, even with all the gear that we've got right now, I'm still going to be firing up a generator. But the more that you can increase your sun capture in terms of number of solar panels, and then your energy storage in terms of number of batteries, the more independent you become from, like we are somewhat dependent on petrol.
We're off grid, but we're still dependent. And what we're wanting to do is to reduce that dependency even more. But you can't just jump in the deep end and be like, I'm not dependent on anything. You'll die.
You do have to start with small steps. And it does start, like coming all the way back to what we said at the start, it does start with just resource yourself in the first resource that is freely available to you, and that is knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, just learn from, and I guess discussions like this, and I'm not saying we're the be all and end all, but this is how we started.
Yeah.
Like, we just learned from those who were doing it and adapted it to our situation. Like, coming back to my original question, which was, it's all very well and good for us to say, grow more food or set up more solar panels. We've got the space to be able to do that. But even when we lived in a tiny house block, we just began shifting and training our thinking and our mindset down to little things like, learning how to cook with ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much so that now my kids open the door to the fridge and they're like, why does everything have to be assembled? Why can't I just like have something?
Yeah, well, because there's no Uber out here, like, to start with.
No, there is.
No Uber Eats.
There's Alia or JJ, hey, on your way home.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, I feel like we could talk forever on this topic.
I do too.
We are making a video that's coming out this weekend that'll probably have some of these ideas distilled down.
It's definitely what we're really focusing on at the moment.
So that'll be over on the other channel. Any last thoughts?
I'd really like to keep the conversation going, as people do, in the comments section.
Yeah.
Tell us what steps you're taking.
Yeah.
Ways that you're looking to become more self-reliant or prepared.
Yep.
Tell us how you're a prepper. Things we haven't thought about, things that, maybe surprised you, skills you're learning. You never know what your comment can actually do to help somebody else who's reading those comments as well.
And I'm particularly interested in what you're doing, not what you've seen on another YouTube video. And I don't mind, but people share all the time, oh, you should look into making biogas or whatever. And it's like, oh, cool, have you done that? Oh, no, but I saw this video one time and it's like, yeah, cool, I've seen the same video.
What are you doing?
But so share that stuff if you want, that's fine. But if you have done something in this space.
Or doing something.
Or you're doing something, like, share your experience, because that is incredibly, incredibly valuable.
We do have, like I've said, a group chat over on our Patreon page that is about stockpiling and food security. There's been a little chatter over there the past couple of days.
Yep.
But I'm really wanting to kind of level that up.
Yep.
This year. And really support each other in this. So there's a bit of a brains trust starting to form over on our little Patreon community. I love it.
That's cool. And I probably should have said this earlier. Well, I looked up today. This sounds very Stephen Bartlett of me, but did you know, it always surprises me. Oh, Luna, there we go. She finally knocked the tripod. It always surprises me how many people watch both of our channels that actually aren't subscribed. And we are 91 people away from a little milestone, which means YouTube will start paying us a little small amount, maybe, once we pass this milestone, which is 1,000 subscribers.
Whether they censor us or not.
If you like what we're doing here, you want to see more of it, subscribing helps you. It signals to the algorithm that you want to see more of it, but it definitely helps us, and we would love to kind of get over that little milestone hump this week. Are you trying to get your face out of the...
91 subscribers this week.
Oh, that's maybe a bit ambitious.
That's a lofty goal. I don't know. Maybe in February.
Well, without kind of big noting or anything like that, there were 2,500 people watched the last episode, and half of them weren't subscribed. If only 10% of the half of them that weren't subscribed, we'd knock that goal over. So there's my little challenge out to you guys. Go. Subscribe and then share it to someone and ask them to subscribe as well. Why not? Let's go for it. That's cool, because if we get supported, we can make more content. I kind of like doing this. I hope you guys like it too.
The sun's in my eyes.
Yeah, I think that's the sign that we need to go and clean the cattle trough.
Definitely needs another clean.
Yeah. See you next week.